the other big movie that came out, which is also, I can't believe it, not getting good reviews either, is X-Men Apocalypse.
I had no idea.
It's about
Oscar
50%.
Isaac's nose was so big. He's got a serious Jimmy Durante nose. I couldn't concentrate on anything that was going on the screen because every time his face was on the screen, there's this giant fucking proboscis, and I'm going, how can he have any powers if his nose is so big? Oh my God, how can he breathe?
Maybe
through
that's
that
where
thing?
his power resonates.
You know what?
In his sinuses?
And they.
A lot of prosthetic makeup.
There's a lot of prosthetic makeup, and a part of the problem for me was in the books. Apocalypse.
Here we go again with the books.
I'm sorry. It's the Apocalypse has a pumpkin head. He's 8 or 12 feet tall, and he's got a big round head
and a belt buckle that has an A on it,
Maybe,
just in case
you know what? That's okay.
Even if you took that out,
yes,
that still does not look like.
Well, and that was his undoing. If you spoiler alert, as soon as the belt buckle went, he was gone. That was what was so sad. So the comic
book, the power came from the belt buckle.
I don't know. I think the power came from his nose.
No, that's the movie version. Yeah. It comes from his nose.
No, I don't know. I don't know what gave him his power in the books. And I'm really, I'm telling you, I'm saying this in front of God and everybody. I'm trying not. I'm trying to accept the fact that based on a book doesn't mean chapter and verse. And I'm trying to accept the premise, and that it's not going to be what I'm expecting, and I'm trying to remove all expectations so I can try to enjoy the movie. So that being said, I went into the movie with no expectations except what I thought I saw in the trailer. Thank you, and I was still disappointed. It was not. I was not.
Brad is filleting the microphone for those of you who aren't watching this.
I was expecting. It was just not enough action. If it's an action adventure movie, whatever you want to call it.
No. The problem with this movie is that it had too much action. It was too long. They needed to make it shorter.
What? No, there was lulls. There was boring parts. There was a point where somebody was walking down a hall, and I counted to like 15, and it's like, move your fucking ass! Come on, faster! Take 2 steps! Shoot! Cut away! Do something else! It was driving me nuts! Fuck you! I was absolutely incensed by the lack of time management in this fucking movie.
Welcome to Brad's Weekly Stroke, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted it to be good. I really didn't want to believe that it was a 50%er. I seriously, stop that. Seriously, I wanted it to be a good movie. All right, Mark, what was your take on it?
I sort of enjoyed certain parts of it. The scenes with Quicksilver were great.
He was awesome. That was the only thing that saved it.
As in the last movie,
the tragic
he stole the show.
scene with Magneto and his family. Awesome scene.
One of the most emotional superhero movie scenes.
Yeah, the whole Magneto arc was great, and the fact Apocalypse was trying to use Charles to use him as a conduit to take over all the other mutants. It was too long. It was just way too long of a movie.
Too many scenes of Magneto floating in the sky, tearing shit up.
A little too much chaotic special effects going on. Some of the characters are probably not needed, like Psylocke. What was her role in this movie? She didn't do anything.
She was the goon, the henchman. I didn't mind her. I thought she was fine. And
she had to fall in love with.
Nice to look at.
She had to fall in love with Angel. That's where she. It was
show
clear.
that in the comics.
That's what turned her.
I mean,
that's what.
Did they show that?
Spoiler.
Did they show that in the movie? I don't remember that.
Yes, because
she is the one that brought Apocalypse to Angel.
Yeah,
she is. Yes,
right. She knew about him.
Thing with Angel though.
There wasn't much of a love story. I think it was more she was a great fighter.
But they knew each other. Probably the way they played it up was they had a past. We don't know what happened. I love
the actors they got to play the younger characters.
Right.
Ty Sheridan as Cyclops and Sophie. What was her name?
Oh, from Game of Thrones, playing Jean Grey. She was awesome.
Yes, the Stark girl. Yeah, she.
Famke Janssen is just too old now.
And Oh, and what was with Jennifer Lawrence mailing in this part? Her part was just she didn't put anything into this character.
Well, she's gone on record a bunch of times saying she doesn't want to do the character anymore. It's too much makeup.
She must have had something in her contract saying she didn't have because the makeup scenes look like they're all CGI'd. So I don't think she wore any makeup in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Well, I think what she did was they made up her face and hair, but her body I think was all CGI. You're right.
Well, I don't know.
Like how Tom Welling did Smallville last episode.
Yeah,
you don't think she was believable?
No. She was just too nonchalant for this movie. It just didn't seem like she was emoting.
I think you're right because when if she wanted to be the coach, if she wanted to be the leader, because that was theoretically the part she was playing, and every time somebody says, "Oh my God, you're my hero," she says, "Fuck you, I'm not a hero." I'm thinking that's not what you do. You want to get people fired up, you grab onto that.
Well, no, that was the whole.
Maybe she had too much of that as Katniss firing people up.
And you guys did see the post credit scene.
Yes.
There's rumor that.
Well, let's wait till we get to the end.
That.
Yeah, because I think with Raven or Mystique, whatever you want to call her, I think that was her arc. Was that she was trying not to be a hero. She didn't see herself as a hero, and it wasn't until the end when she finally decided that yes, okay, I'm going to embrace this and become the leader of the X-Men. Rich, I know you really liked it. What did you think?
Probably the best movie I've seen all year.
Better than Deadpool.
Movie-wise, yeah, Deadpool is still probably the best comic book movie because I won't put one movie in two different categories. But out of all the movies I've seen, this had great acting, good stories. Like there's several stories going on, but it held me in it, and the emotion was played so well that every time a character that I normally wouldn't care about in the past, all of a sudden I cared about. Got a little misty-eyed a few times.
You get misty-eyed at everything.
Scooby-Doo, the X-Men Apocalypse.
He's like, oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry.
When Jean Grey's starting to become the Phoenix, I was getting a little.
Well, I'm not going.
I was welling up.
Go ahead.
Because this movie had so many real-life parallels of how, it's if you don't think about just they're mutants, but you think about humans. We are afraid of our power. And that's what all these mutants were dealing with, is they're afraid about their power because they're afraid they might hurt somebody because society has put it on them that they are different. And they projected the fear on it, and these people accept it.
No, continue, please.
So anyways, that's what I liked about this movie. It portrayed the feeling of actually what's kind of going on in the country right now. Because whenever there's change, there's always hard resistance.
Exactly.
Well, that's what the X-Men movies have always done from the
that's
very
what the comics
first
are
one.
about.
So are you saying that I am supposed to be Apocalypse? This is Donald Trump.
I'm saying your hair's mutating.
Yeah, Donald Trump is orange, Apocalypse is blue, kind of all.
Oh, it comes
It's
together.
gonna be great.
It comes together.
Q, what was your take on the movie?
Well, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like you said, the Magneto part, when his family died, was phenomenal. The Quicksilver parts. When it blew up, I was it was more of a like, all right, I know he coming. Where he at? He said he was leaving. Like, hurry up and get there. Like, say today. And like, he comes up and he's like, dun, 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 dun. I was like, yeah. I'm in the movie like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was like great. And then, remember how I said in Days of Future Past, they kind of were fixing their mistakes from X3? Well, they were still fixing mistakes. That's why when they did the Phoenix, it was done correctly.
And did you like the dig that they had in last?
Yeah. Oh, with the Star Wars. Oh,
when they're walking
the
out.
third one always sucks. I was like, yeah, okay.
Although, if you think
I was
about
the only
it,
one in the theater to laugh.
this is also the third movie of what I'll call the First Class trilogy.
That's true.
And so it was almost like they were kind of poking fun at themselves
Right.
and The Last Stand.
And they knew it was going to be the worst one of the trilogy. If you think about it,
Well, I don't know.
It's not the best.
I don't know.
It's probably the least.
They let the line
know,
in as a
man.
double entendre.
I don't know.
Only being able to have 4 good movies out of 6 is not really
I don't know.
a claim to fame.
Well, here's the thing. This one's a lot better than The Last Stand. So
That's
I think
what I said.
I think this is the worst of the 3 first class movies.
Whoa,
But it's still so much better than The Last Stand.
Last
My-
Stand
my
is when
only problem-
is the one where Xavier dies in the house
Right,
trying
yep.
to talk down what's
The-
the name
the only-
before
Jean Grey
Wolverine,
goes ballistic.
before Wolverine kills her. Okay.
The only thing I liked about The Last Stand was the last fight scene. That was the best part of the whole movie. But coming back to this, I don't know if it was the worst. I can't say
Which
it-
were of the 3? Which ones were not as good as this one? Then
Last Stand sucked,
I'm not talking about Last Stand.
You
I'm
talking about these 3?
First Class, Days of Future Past,
and this one.
and this one. This one's probably the least of the 3.
This is the
Yeah.
best of the 3.
You're on coke.
See, my
Well, see, my thing is like, I mean, there were things I didn't like. Like, I didn't like the fact that
runs before he comes.
that they were in the Quicksilver was in the Weapon X facility and didn't recognize, like, you know, Wolverine was there, or you get what I'm saying, like little stuff like that you were just with him 10 years ago.
Right, but this is.
I don't think
this
he saw
movie
him.
is
No,
33
he was
years
with.
old.
Well, he didn't. You're right. He didn't see Wolverine.
He didn't.
But it was stuff like just little things like that, and I'm glad they did Wolverine right.
Speaking
with
of
the whole
Weapons
mask
X,
and the
speaking of
cords.
Weapons X, listen to this. How do we explain at the end of Days of Future Past when Stryker is like,
and it was Mystique.
and it was Mystique, and all
Yeah,
of a sudden,
that's stupid. I didn't
what
understand
happened
that.
there? There's got to be
They
a
didn't explain
storyline that
that.
explains how Mystique got away from
Being
or,
Stryker.
or how Wolverine got away from Mystique and got back and put into the real Stryker's hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, how are they going to explain that?
That would require a 7th movie. Do you trust them to give you a 7th movie?
they are doing another Wolverine movie,
But
so
this
they
is
could.
Old Man Logan though.
Yeah, but if you
Not
notice,
really.
all X-Men movies start with a flashback.
Right.
So
Well,
that's
maybe
true.
the new Wolverine
And then,
movie
well, I
will
mean, and then they
use
did-
that technique.
They actually did kind of put some stuff together, I want to say, because she said I gave him back the memories that I could find. Okay, but my thing is now you did it. See, how do you connect? You can't say these 3 movies are separate from the first 3.
No,
You just
because they're
can't.
prequel movies.
These 3 movies, but see, these 3 movies.
Well, didn't he
to
lose
me-
his memories when Stryker shot him in the head?
Right,
at the end
but
of X-Men
Gene
Origins?
gave him back some of them in this movie.
That means
Right.
he would have been
but
shot
see,
by Stryker in the head already.
These 3 movies to
Right.
me are them trying to say we fucked up with the first 3, because I feel like they're going back with these movies
Right,
trying to
but
figure.
I don't think
if they-
Wolverine lost his
okay,
memory.
Okay, but when you do a prequel. When you do a prequel of a franchise that's already established, you still put stuff in those prequels to connect with the movies that you have already done.
Yeah.
They have not done that in none of these movies.
That is correct.
How
I
did
agree.
Wolverine lose his
Then they go
memory?
back in time.
They have not. They
He lost
reset
his-
the whole timeline.
How did-
in
how
Days of
did-
Future
how-
Past.
listen.
And they're acting like X-Men Origins didn't even happen.
How did Wolverine
That-
lose his memory?
We don't know. They reset the whole thing in Days of Future Past.
So they haven't explained that yet.
They haven't explained that yet.
yeah,
Wait, no,
X-Men
they
Origins
did.
No,
but the X-Men
When he
movies
got
have been
shot, he got
fast.
shot
that
in the head of the
doesn't
girl.
count. They reset the whole timeline in Days of Future Past.
Initially, before Days of Future Past,
Right.
He lost his memory when Stryker
Shot him in the head.
when he was escaping from the Weapons X facility.
But that was when that was not. That was when he went back to the Weapon X facility.
Yes.
Not the initial escape.
So you think he's going to go back after this?
But I don't know. We don't know.
they
They,
let him-
reset everything,
and
in
they
Days of
just-
Future
and they
Past.
just let him
Basically
loose.
Saying them first 3 movies did not
so
count.
the next movie should be him going back to the Weapons
Right.
X facility.
Exactly.
And
it should
somebody
be
needs to-
X-Men Origins over again.
Since they're rewriting all the stories, can somebody please put a boot up Stryker's ass and kill that motherfucker once and for all? I am so
You
sick
need a
of
good
that
villain.
motherfucker.
You can't get rid of
But
him.
because now it's like X-Men 2 never happened. X-Men 1 never happened. X-Men Origins, Wolverine, never happened.
Well,
these movies never happened.
Well, Bryan Singer did go on record this week saying that he wants to reunite the original cast of X-Men to do a new movie in this new altered timeline.
He would have to. You have to explain what you've done. Those 3 movies, as far as I'm concerned, never happened. Those 4 movies never happened. And then Wolverine, the standalone film with the Silver Samurai, that never happened. Because he never killed Jean Grey, according to Days of Future Past.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So let me ask you this. What about the next X-Men movie? Because there is going to be one.
When's that due out?
Mark, you were talking about the teaser scene at the end.
They showed like the Weapons X facility, and the guy was like putting some gadgets or some
blood
samples in the
blood samples in a suitcase.
Into a suitcase. I heard rumors that it might be involving Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, but Sinister was in Apocalypse.
That's another thing. Sinister was in the...
He was already in the comic book, but not in the movie.
Well, I understand, but how are they going to justify...
Well, they were saying that Havoc could be still alive, and Mr. Sinister had something where he wanted the Summers blood.
That was
the
in
Summers,
the book.
The Summers bloodline. He wanted
that was in the book.
Yeah,
right.
And
but
Havoc, if Havoc's still alive, they
was,
could say that he could have been changed into Mr. Sinister somehow.
But see, the thing with that is, you would be still changing story arcs because Mr. Sinister created Archangel, not Apocalypse. He did it for
remember,
Apocalypse.
this has all been changed because
but Days of Future Past fucked everything up. So I'm going to say this one is better than Days of Future Past.
Now let me
They're
ask you.
changing stuff up just like comic books are doing. They're just changing.
But I get that. But my whole thing is you fucked up the whole. We can't even honestly sit here and talk about continuity
you're
with 1%. These movies. The average moviegoer cannot sit here and talk about continuity with this franchise because you fucked everything up with Days of Future Past.
It doesn't matter to them.
It
doesn't matter to the studios. They want their 99% dollars.
Just like Terminator Genesis. They fucked everything up with Terminator Genesis because now John Connor's all of a sudden the fucking bad guy.
Yeah, but that was a bad movie. This is a good movie. So.
No, this is a good movie,
much,
but
yeah.
you're right. But it's still the same thing that they did.
Now,
you're trying to you fucked everything.
Now let me ask
Terminator
you,
can kiss my ass.
When Apocalypse was being disintegrated by Jean Grey,
right?
What did he say?
The truth has been revealed.
And what does that mean?
We have
Phoenix will destroy the world. That's all I'm saying.
That
we always known that
Dark Phoenix
Phoenix comes in to destroy.
Apocalypse thought he was the most powerful person, and he died with a smile on his face because he saw Jean Grey destroy him. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, at least the way I read the movie, was that he realizes there's somebody even more powerful than him that can take over the world, and that it's going to be Dark Phoenix.
But if they do it right, Dark Phoenix is just not it's a alien entity that took over her body, but.
Right, the Phoenix is the culmination of her mutant power.
Right, it's an entity that took over her body and enhanced her power. But okay,
but that hasn't happened yet.
But apparently it has because she's got the powers. And
didn't she? Wasn't there like a foreshadow of that, anyways? Earlier when she was afraid that.
She had the nightmare dream that the world was going to end.
But she was like, "I'm afraid I'm going to hurt people."
Right. So she's seen it.
She said everybody is afraid of her because they're afraid. They are afraid she's going to hurt them because she has so much power.
She is in the future
because winter is coming.
That was a bad movie too. Forget about it.
Really, it was.
You're mixing your geeky references there.
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you guys, big picture. Where does this fall in the spectrum of X-Men movies? And we're going to include the solos. So that's Deadpool. That's X-Men. That's Wolverine Origins, The Wolverine.
Okay.
Is this towards the top, towards the bottom?
Best one.
So better than X2, which to me, X-Men 2 is the best
second.
movie.
X2 is second.
Okay, so this is second to X2. All right, Mark.
No, this one. Then
this
X2.
is first.
Then X2.
X2. Okay, Mark.
Then X2.
Where does this one fall? More in the middle, towards the bottom,
the lower half, probably.
Yeah.
Lower half.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Because I thought you said including all the movies.
All of them.
Yeah. So it would be this one.
It's less than half.
First Class, X2.
So First Class is better than X2.
Yes, First Class, X2,
You had me and then you lost me. Because X2 is my all-time favorite
X-Men.
X-Men movie.
Okay, I'm going with. Oh well, shit.
And then what about Deadpool?
But you said Deadpool. So Deadpool, this one, First Class, X2.
Why are we throwing Deadpool in this?
Well, Deadpool's in the X-Men universe.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Deadpool.
Because they did it, and Deadpool did have X-Men characters.
Wolverine movies
Right.
too, right?
Right. So Deadpool,
Wolverine,
Apocalypse.
I would put those Wolverine movies probably down at the lower end of the
end,
list with
yeah.
Last Stand,
I
and
think
then
actually-
Apocalypse right above them, and then all the other ones above that.
See,
Okay, so you're saying the two Wolverine movies are the worst two,
Yeah,
and then X-Men Last Stand,
and then Apocalypse,
then Apocalypse.
then all the other ones above that.
Okay,
worst movie, Origins.
right. I think we can all agree on
That's
that one.
Origins. Yeah, that's the Rocky Five of the bunch.
Tommy Gun.
The one above that, Last Stand.
Yeah, that's
Last
gotta be.
Stand is right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I would actually say that the Wolverine is a
Was
lot better than the Last Stand. Yeah.
And then I would go X-Men, the first one. Then I would go Days of Future Past, First Class. X2, First Class, Deadpool.
All right, Rich.
Wow.
We know you love this movie, so I'm assuming you're going to put this one at the top of the
It'd be in the
list.
top there next to Deadpool, and actually like the Wolverine movies.
You like
You
both,
like
of,
both
them?
of them?
I like the second one.
The second one was I liked better than the first one.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, that's like everybody liking Rocky 5. Come on, man.
All right,
Somebody's
Brad.
gotta like Rocky
you
V.
didn't like this one. You put it down at the bottom with Mark.
It's really hard to say. I like the first three. Even when I was screaming at the screen when all hell broke loose and Famke went all black-eyed and killed Patrick Stewart. That was sad. I didn't hate that movie.
Well, I didn't hate it either, but I think what happened was you had X2, which was so damn good,
Right.
And then directly
Well,
after that,
I have the
Last Stand, it was a
extended
far
cut,
drop.
so I have X-Men,
Right.
X-Men 1.2, and then X2, and then
Well, see, the fucked up part is Singer went to go do Superman. So X-Men sucked and Superman sucked. So they both really sucked.
Should have never left that project.
well,
He should have.
Well, you know what's
never
funny
left.
is he did the first two, then he took a break for the middle two, then he came back for the most recent two.
Yeah.
So I agree with Richie. I like, and I know that they were kind of bad, but I like the Wolverine movies because he's like in my top.
Well, Hugh
5.
Jackman is awesome.
Yeah,
Hugh
I mean,
Jackman
He's
is
always good no
Right.
matter the movie.
So you tell
So-
me you like Deadpool with the mouth sewed shut?
That was terrible.
That was horrible.
That was-
But for me, Deadpool is the top of the list. So, but I don't consider him part of this debacle because based on what you just said and the reality for that nightmare Days of Future Past, or whatever the fuck it was called, none of it exists. So it doesn't really matter what I like. All I need to know is I love Deadpool. I could own that movie. And the ones that are the X-Men movies that I do own, I can like throw into the air and they'll vaporize because they don't exist anymore because they just ruined the story theme. So I don't know. My favorite X-Men movie is Deadpool, and all the rest of them can. For fuck's sake!
Mark's yawning.
They can kiss Q's ass.
Thank you.
fucking 10:30 at night.
Yeah, right. No, this one was like I said. It was yes. It needed to be cut down. It was too long. I liked the part that there was, but there was there's a couple of God views of the movie, and there's this teeny little apocalypse, and there's somebody's almost as tall as him, and they're like right now. I'm going, who the fuck's that little purple guy? Oh wait. Oh, is that Apocalypse?
He
Oh, and I
wasn't-
found out. We
wasn't purple.
actually found out where the purple came from. It must have been his portal when they took a picture. It was him in his portal. That's what the light was
Or it
from.
could have been Psylocke's
Or it could have been
weapon.
Psylocke's
She was
weapon.
outside of purple.
So
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
where the purple came from.
the
Ivan fucking Ooze.
Yes. the X-Men part of the movie, like I said, it was very good. It was the tween parts that just aggravated the crap out of me.
The Wolverine scene to me was very well done.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they got it right.
But they opened up a story arc. They gave us
That they are not going to follow up on. I
They're
bet
not?
any amount of money that they're not going to do it.
But it was beautiful. It was
But
perfect.
they're not going to do it. Why are they not going to do it, Mark? Because we are what?
No, they're gonna do it because they got one last
Fuck you,
Hugh
Bart.
Jackman X-Men movie,
Oh, and that's it.
and
He's done.
I think he's gonna go all out. They're gonna pull out every stop.
he
Supposedly,
doesn't want to
Patrick
play it no
Stewart
more.
is going to have a prominent role in this movie, and that would kind of tie back into Bryan Singer wanting to reunite the
in
original
there.
cast.
So is Hugh Jackman going to do this one? Then he's going to do one more X-Men, full X-Men, or
No,
this is
this
just
is
it?
it.
No,
This
they
is
got
it.
up to one more movie.
This is last movie.
And then he's gonna
now he
do
might do
Shaw.
a little cameo like he did in Apocalypse.
Okay.
But his last starring role is going to be Old Man Logan.
Okay, good enough for me.
Yeah,
Works for you, Mark?
works for me.
Okay.
I guess the next movie that comes out is Independence Day, right?
I think
June
that's
24th.
And we're gonna be in
That's
South
another
Beach.
Big,
No,
that's another
June
big one
24th.
here. I'm not sure what the
Oh,
next.
I thought it
big
came out on.
release is.
No,
It doesn't
June
come out on
24th.
4th of July weekend.
You talking about-
Oh yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. We're
No,
gonna
I
be in
think
South
it comes out before the 4th of
Yeah, I
July
think it
weekend.
does.
All right.
Okay, well anyway, I'm just trying to think of movies that's going to beat Deadpool because it's still the best comic book movie
Isn't there
of the
something coming out next week?
Suicide Squad, probably in August, maybe.
Something
Maybe.
June.
Well, I'm thinking that or Independence Day might.
Oh, next weekend is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's
Well,
it.
that shit ain't gonna do it. That's definitely not gonna beat Deadpool.
Now here's the movie. I think that's actually going to be the movie of the summer for me. Pop Star, Never Stop
that looks
Stopping.
funny.
Oh God.
Which is the Lonely Island guys
Yeah.
doing a Justin Bieber spoof.
That is.
I
that
just
was
feel like
pretty
that's.
funny.
Well, we'll save
Killed
it.
Seal.
We'll save it for next weekend because I have a feeling that's going to be a big topic of discussion.
Okay.
So, Brad, please put a fork in this bad boy.
Oh yeah.
Fork us, Brad.
Were we going to talk about the drink?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
Q. What do we got here?
Well, Brad, tell us.
Oh, Brad.
Hello, and look, it's Krabby's original alcoholic ginger beer.
Krabby. That's perfect for this crew.
For most of you who know that ginger beer is really a light soft drink, Krabby's takes it 4.8% alcohol higher. We have been drinking some. Cut that out. We have been drinking, as you can see, it's totally gone. Some Moscow mules made with delicious Krabby's original Herbert. Yes, it was delicious. It's something a little far afield of what we normally drink, but in order to drink ginger beer, a person has to have vodka and lime juice, and we did that, and it was delicious, and I say it is a reorder number.
Well, we had 4 weeks of hard cider, so I
Yes.
figured we should actually get some beer.
hard liquor.
No, but it's real.
Hard.
It's the real deal.
Hard
Yes.
And we know Mark likes anything hard, so.
Loves it hard.
Cut that out.
All right, Brad.
Why
This
not?
has
Why
been
not
the
even?
23rd podcast of Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi with Mark Myers. Ew, it's sticky. You, Richie, if only I could find a real roll with meat and potatoes. Denver on the board, and me, the giant punisher of everybody's life, Broadcast Lennon. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Huzzah.
You can all kiss my.
Everybody kiss Q's ass right now. Whip it out, buddy. Let them all see it. Let's start.
Here we go.